looks like the map will be Vizcaya Foundry. Dignitas with the pick.
So again, we're coming back to Uriel and her priorities. So the question is going to be, where will she end up? Are we going to see the early pick again for her, or are we going to have other heroes prioritized on the map? Also, Deckard Cain seems to be the fallback option for Dignitas whenever they can't get their hands onto Malfurion, working out really well for Zelia so far. And yeah, the value out of his ults is crazy. That's actually really impressive. We've seen a fair amount of Deckard ults that have not really given the most value to the teams that used him, so he does that extremely well to guarantee them at least a kill.
I think Curson has been the one that gave us some of the best Deckard Cain first couple weeks in the MSG.
Yeah.
So well, they actually have one available to Amir in this series. So going into the third game, I am very curious about Uriel, as you mentioned. First game we got her as a first pick for Method, but moving into the second one, we need her to the 2-3. So will she become someone that becomes ban worthy? Will she not? It feels like on this battleground, with that open space, Tracer and Genji are still a liability that you have to worry about, obviously, and there are a few other heroes that can be quite strong here.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I mean, for Uriel, the added wave flare that she has in the current live version of the game has, of course, made her even more so a huge force to be reckoned with in the solo lane. And that's something that the teams have heavily relied upon in both the games. But we have seen her a lot today, and this trend is just going to continue. Especially here in the level 7, the Divine Seed is even more so important, since you can just set yourself up for really good flanks. You can dual soak if you need to. So Uriel is going to be very powerful, and I would be shocked if she isn't picked or banned here. But you are correct. Tracer is still extremely powerful here. She's continuously banned. Very rarely do we see her go through the draft, and this game is not going to be an exception. Tracer and Genji, so we're back to the normal bans.
Back to the norm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Method. What are you going to do? You going to give us Uriel for the first pick? Or do you believe she's someone that can wait till the 2-3? Malfurion's up and available, which they have shown in the past they're willing to take away from Team Dignitas. Wouldn't be a bad first pick, too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing to me is it's just super interesting to see this high of priority still for Genji and Tracer. No matter what you do with the two heroes, thanks to the mobility that they have, they will always be extremely high up. And they definitely are way ahead of any other hero when it comes to the ban ratio. And it's actually even changing, because the heroes that came in on the 3rd and the 4th spot were Garrosh and yeah, Uriel against on the 1. Can't even remember who the 4th was, but it's just crazy to see how consistent these two are banned out. And whenever they aren't, they're usually ending up in a first pick position.
Was it a Hanzo?
Yeah, exactly. Hanzo was in there. Thanks.
Okay, first and second pick for Team Dignitas. Malfurion should be up and available. I feel like that should be an immediate slot in for them. And then, of course, whatever they want to move into. Speaking of Hanzo, we haven't had him for a while. Usually pretty strong in this battleground. But I do worry that we aren't seeing him as much due to the fear of Uriel diving on Hanzo.
They might not even go for Malfurion here. So far, the Deckard Cain play has looked really strong. And normally, I would say, okay, Malfurion an insta-pick. Maybe even with a Blaze rotation, or just going for Muradin, since Muradin is something that JPL really wants to play, but Method has heavily contested the hero in the series.
Sure.
But yeah, maybe with now Deckard becoming more of a staple in the tiering compositions in the way that they play, they're willing to let the support even go in this sense, or don't even go into that early Malf. But Malf Muradin could be something they go for. That I didn't see coming at all.
That is new for Dig.
I mean, I am okay with you trying to go for a double support Vala composition, but Vala in the first rotation?
Yeah.
I mean, my girl is back, so I'm happy with that.
Vala Tassadar. We're not in Korea, right?
You know, and this is most of China these days, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
But this is definitely something where Method is going to be like, wait, what? So, Tassadar an early pick? Yeah, getting something else in there for sure. And then maybe later on trying to go into Vala instead, but that is still interesting.
Is this a way to try and help control Uriel a little bit? I mean, you have Rain of Vengeance to help out with locking her down if she tries to leap away.
I'm actually not sure. I'm really curious to see how the rest of the draft pans out for them, and also how Method reacts to it.
Interesting.
I mean, double support Vala, yeah, we've seen it a few times. It's just the priority that shocks me.
Muradin, Deckard.
And that's going to be a ban on Malfurion, I would assume.
Yeah. For Method.
Yeah, Muradin, again. This is the reason why I thought they would take Muradin in the first rotation, Dignitas that is, because JPL loves it. He plays so much Muradin, and this is one of the maps where they do. But Method has been contesting this the entire time, so I really felt that Dignitas would prioritize their own tank a bit higher. Now you can still go into Johanna here, so maybe Method bans out the tank over a potential support ban.
What would scare you if you're trying to face off against Method as Vala? I was thinking Greymane for a little bit, but Chromie gets banned out, a staple on this battleground. As we've mentioned in our first series, always great for stacking up the Sandblast, especially around the control points, and when the Protector gets grabbed.
I mean, this will be an interesting ban. You could ban out the front line. You could say, okay, we're going to ban out, let's say, Johanna, for example.
Sure.
Or you could simply say, well, Malfurion is still up. Dignitas has shown insane Malfurion play. We've already taken Deckard Kane away from them. If we would ban out Malfurion, we force them into maybe a Karazim, or depending on how highly they value Rega now, they could go into that. Depending on the second damage, you could even go into Uther.
That's the thinking about this Malfurion pick. We're going to be waiting for the 4th, 5th. They just ban out Malfield. So Malfurion up and available.
Okay, I mean, these two scrimmed against each other. There's definitely something where they've already seen that. You talked a little bit earlier about how you feel that Malthus is actually a good decision into URL, and I think that's absolutely correct, but I did not think that it would be threatening enough for them to ban it out.
Guess you have two frontline warriors in the front that have to deal with Malfield. It'd be really annoying. You get chunked down while Vala, once you get 16 mana core, suddenly your tanks are just shredded. It's always the case for Ardent Defender, especially against Last Rites, but still.
I mean, it's a big threat against Muradin for sure. If you just chunk him down, especially with Vala, if she gets her shots in at the start, and you can burst that a bit. Yeah, but here's Malfurion now as a result. That doesn't really come as a surprise, so if you don't ban him out, and of course with Deckard being banned out, they're going to rely upon him. And Garrosh.
So we're waiting on Wubby's side laner. Okay, looking over to Method. Gonna need some damage, obviously. Falstad is an opportunity here.
Phoenix is still available.
Yeah.
Seen a ton of Phoenix now. Nick played a decent one too. Falstad, as you said.
Hanzo's still
Hanzo.
up. Great against Garrosh. Especially when they're running these like Tassadar compositions where they don't really step up as much and then try and sustain. You just poke like crazy. Wear them out.
Yeah. I don't believe in Greymane too much here. Greymane is currently sitting at 0-6 in Europe.
What about ADRD's Maev here? Is that too scary? Multiple melees?
Actually, now that you're mentioning ADID, I'm actually wondering if they
Yeah.
might see something along the lines of Medivh again.
Yeah.
That would help them, but they'd still need something to actually pack a proper punch. But against Garrosh, it would definitely help them.
Jaina, Abathur.
I don't know why, but I haven't really thought about a URL Abathur. That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's strong. And then now you have clone targets. Jaina in particular.
Yeah.
Where do we end up this time?
Vikings from Dignitas?
I'm in. Bring it. I'm ready. So you run the 4-man with Vala, the double support Vala, and you have the Soak on the side lanes. I'm game.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked too, but bring the Vikings. I'm okay with that.
And it's Wubby on the Vikings too.
Liquid played it, and Liquid's against Fnatic, it made a lot of sense with what they saw there. And we heard them talk later on in the winners interview about how they didn't really go into the series with the thought process of playing the Vikings at any point, but Hazel just said at some point, well, guys, look at this. This is making sense. Like, we can actually run this. And they're known for it. Dignitas isn't, but they are playing the Vikings here against the Abathur composition. And that's one of these things. When you have an Abathur on the other side, Vikings become attractive.
Sure.
But of course, it's still one of these picks that you don't see too much. The more Viking... Okay, that's not quite true. I don't want to see Vikings in every game, but having Vikings come
As an
up...
answer somewhere.
Yeah, or having Vikings come up every weekend like once, I would absolutely love that. Seeing a bit more Vikings play in HGC would be fantastic, since they change the way you approach the game. They demand a completely different playstyle, not only from you as an individual player, but from your team too. So I am very much on board with it as a pick, but I would lie if I'd say I expected that at any point.
Let's watch it here on the left side. In the blue, pulling out the Vikings. No, it's not Team Liquid, it's Team Dignitas. Poik playing Vala, Wubby playing the Lost Vikings, Zelia on Malfurion, Snitch on Tassadar, and JPL on Garrosh.
And it's super fun com on Dignitas' side. To the right side, though, we have ADRD on Abathar, Bad Benny on Muradin again. Nick finds himself this time on Jaina. We have Ethereal on the side lane with Urel, and Curson is going to play Deckard Kane. So we have an Abathar Urel combo already, as if she isn't already strong enough on that solo lane. Abathar is now going to make that even scarier for the opponent. So a ton of sustain here if you're looking at the setup that we see for Method. But Dignitas has decided that they want to play around Method here, trying to go for the Vikings and a strong foreman with a double support Vala as the setup. Is that gonna be enough to take Method down, or will Method now punish this Vikings play?
Now, typically when you're running the Vikings, you'll set up a lane where you have maybe a tri-lane or where your four-man's just committing to the idea of breaking down a lane, taking down the turrets, getting them forward. But Dignitas, they open up a little bit differently here. They put two at the bottom, they cleared out the lane, and they bring Vala and Tassadar to the middle, and they start to put their damage here in the side. Now, what are they going to do when it comes to trying to grab the control point? It seems like you have the Vikings soak all three and buy as much time as you can to try and get an experienced lead.
Yeah, pretty much. That's more or less what you're currently looking for, and you're trying to just like roll that as much as you can. But I mean, there is... You have Abathar, so you can side lane too. You can at least soak some of the experience, and you're not going to lose out too much on it. But especially against Abathar, obviously you're trying to exploit until level 10 the fact that there's only 4 bodies on the map. Abathar himself is not going to move that into the team fight. So in a team fight scenario, you can try to be a bit more aggressive with it. Abathar already doing a very good job with the Toxic Nests here. That provides them vision, so they have a bit of an idea, hey, where is Dignitas right now? What are they going to do? Are they rotating to one of their mercenary camps, or are they going to try and set something up where they, for example, trap someone in the bush?
Also, demounts the ability for you to mount through there, so you slow down rotations a little bit. Baylog trading out against Urel, gotta be careful there. Doesn't feel like that's a matchup that he's gonna win too much. His job in this top lane is just to soak it out, and then punish whenever Urel does leave. Team Dignitas continues to group up as 4, clears with the middle wave, and dances as Baylog gets cleaned up in the top lane.
For me, it's going to be scary around Nick later, since we have Stormbolt, the scroll coming in from Deckard, and also you have Urel there. So there's a lot of opportunities to push someone into a position where Nick can follow it up with damage, and that makes me a bit scared for a lot of the heroes on Dignitas' side. Garrosh is going to try and do his best in these situations to create some kind of chaos as well with the throwers we just saw against Muradin. The question just simply remains how much he can actually... I mean, there's not enough of a follow-up there that I would really be scared about it. You can follow it up with a root, but is the damage output through Ballast really enough to threaten Muradin or Urel? I personally don't think so, especially once you have Abathar committing to Carapace.
We'll see if it works out for them. For now, Mercenary Lord picked up level 4 here for the Lost Vikings, so Baylog will be intending to push in the top lane. Again, any Mercenaries that are near you have their damage increased by 50%, so that will need to be cleared up. Luckily, Method has a perfect tool for clearing out Merc camps. That's Jaina coming up with the Blizzard, and look at her. She's already putting damage down.
I mean, I'm having fun here already. Bad Benny jumps out, but we still have towards the top lane. Jaina pushing this through. How is Dignitas going to run this now, and how is Method reacting? They're still stalling this out slightly. Abathar is at the bot lane, but this is now one of the moments when Jaina can start to rotate into the middle instead. Actually goes back, tops up the mana pool. Bad Benny takes over the top, tries to push Ruby out a bit. They're about to give up a huge chunk of that first objective, not contesting it yet. Again, they run an Abathar composition, so they need to be careful, but everyone is on the way in towards the middle now.
Stormbolt comes out, Poik able to dodge it thanks to the vault, while Wobby controls the point. Ethereal gets tossed on that side, but he's going for the stun. Brings Garrosh into the fight as he gets hit with a triangle, but Ethereal taking a lot of damage here as Poik continues to work on those auto attacks.
Yeah, but Abathar helps out with it too. Now, of course, now the Vikings are starting to gain some value for Dignitas. They can push that out, but we see Jaina rotating to the top lane to try and push that lane, because apparently they're giving up the Protector here, yeah? And they're trying to take Wobby down instead. Boah, barely not able to do that. That was a close call there.
That always feels so good when like Baylog gets sniped, but you're able to like dodge a couple of abilities and run away.
Yeah.
Ugh, Baylog able to escape just barely as Jaina continues to search for him. Team Dignitas rotates to the top and goes with the same play you normally see with the Protector in terms of trying to take down the well and the turrets in the top lane.
Yeah, Balog might not be quite as swift as Eric, but he's certainly fierce.
And he is fierce, he is sassy, and he's got swords. Team Dignitas breaks down the turrets, tries to get a glove on Nick, but can't quite connect it.
I mean, one of the best things that you can actually do is like with Balog go for a full Balog build with the Vikings, and there were times in the game when it was so strong that you could just destroy people in 1 versus 1 setups, or at least just bury waves. But Dignitas with the massive advantage now as they're nearly taking a level lead, moving to the top and trying to drop the 4th tier. So they've done really well, dropping the fountain, setting everything else up for the second protector, for the second objective. And they are also going to get the 4th tier, so that's a massive lead in XP that they have now. And for Method, it's really just time to try and get those 1.5 levels until they finally can set a copy up so that they can copy Jaina in those team fights and get more burst damage out.
One of the things that you can do if you are intending to try and get back in experience, you can pick up the Vikings. Sure, they're not worth a full hero kill, but being able to take them out allows you to also slip away but deny experience from your opponent. And Method tried to do that with Urella. She's jumping on Olaf, but Olaf able to escape as he retreats, and of course his natural trait of having that region available if it's not contested allows for him to heal on up, and he continues to soak that lane. 10 connects for Team Dignitas. They grab play again, and they'll have the heroics over Method.
Yeah, Thero with the Divine Seed already running between lanes here. That helps him a bit also to mitigate some of the weaknesses of Abathur, at least in the earlier stages, where with the Symbiote he might not be able to soak all of it, but as long as he helps out Urel here, that's going to be fine. It's all about the level 10 at this point. Now Dignitas, of course, they were hoping, or will hope to get to level 13, but yeah, Method is from level 10 onwards in a position where they can take better team fights. And they are a level behind right now, but they have the heroics. And we haven't seen a kill in the game yet. We've only seen Vikings being taken out.
That's a good point there. Currently still 0-0. As Method waits on their heroics for both Deckard, Jaina. Oh, actually all 3 is Murden still waiting on his. Feels like this could be a Ring of Frost game, being able to lock down multiple targets and kill them up quickly. Could be good there for Method, but they decide to actually move straight into the Water Elemental.
Water Elemental Avatar is now being has been chosen too. And Garrosh with the taunt attempt. They're trying to get the kill, and they do. Murden goes down, taunted by Garrosh, and the follow-up damage allowed them to take Murden apart before he was able to pop his Avatar. Great kill for them.
Eric, meanwhile, is pushing on that top lane with the camp being grabbed. Balog gets picked up in the bottom lane, but Team Dignitas, they don't really mind too much. As a unit of 4, go straight for the fort in the middle wave, and they are clearing it quickly.
Yeah, there's a trade attempt now by Method as they just simply move through the bot lane instead because they realize that we will be too late to do anything up here. But Dignitas is already attempting to get more value by simply stealing the camp away to the top.
They steal it. And with Eric pushing in with all 6 of these, Team Dignitas actually groups up.
Method needs
together.
to be really careful. They lost the last game already because they were losing out on the macro game, and when they finally were trying to force these fights in the mid game, it didn't work out for them. But now Dignitas is heavily trying to play around them, and they already have a talent advantage again. At some point, Method will have to try and fight here. They go for Wubi's Eric, and they're not even getting that. Yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen any big commitments with cooldowns just yet, not even in that fight. And of course, you don't want to sacrifice too much to try and go for Eric here. But now we have that talent advantage for Dignitas, and Method still has to ask themselves, are we going to soak now? Are we going to try and wait for even talents? Are we willing to take a fight where we don't have even talents here? Because Dignitas is all over the place now.
It starts to feel desperate, doesn't it? Chasing around the Vikings, trying to find where you can get some experience, where you can find some kills, and yet, meanwhile, your opponent feels like they're playing around with you. You continue to fall further and further behind. Method, for now, will grab a turret, and at least they have a couple of items available, but they really don't want to contest that top side until they hit 13, and Team Dignitas, with them having Eric up there and hanging out and grabbing the point, they don't mind. They're slowing down the rotation as much as they can, dropping side storms, and making it hard for Method to even have a chance to connect.
I wouldn't really call it desperate. I mean, we have 3 turrets for Method, so they're doing well when it comes to that. Oh, Benny jumps out. That was an important one. If he gets taunted there, locked down, he's in trouble. 13 isn't ready yet, and it's 90%. So Benny moves up, and they should be okay here if they get the 13. but Abathur doesn't have it yet. But on the other hand, there we go, Urel is deep, Bala goes down, and that's the kill that Method needed. The stay a while and listen also doing some work here as Nick gets healed by the healing pulse. The taunt comes through, and that's the end of Urel. Great play by JPL, allowing for the kill. Turrets everywhere as we're seeing Method fighting for their life in this game, claiming the point to the top.
Claiming the point, and they'll start to climb up. A Team Dignitas just waits for Vala, which will be up in about 10 seconds, and she'll also have that Rain of Vengeance available. So they should be able to contest it here, but for now, it's all about making sure not to get caught out. With the Ultimate Evolution clone expiring as well, Team Dignitas steps up a little bit and sees if JPL can poke anyone.
To be honest, Method needs to win this one.
Yeah.
They lose this one with the Vikings now already soaking all of the remaining lanes and starting to push that out and fall even farther behind in experience. Method would be so far behind that coming back into it would be nearly impossible. So Method knows that too. They are going to die a slow death if they are not taking this Protector. This one is going to be crucial, especially with Dignitas now already claiming 15 and trying to get the 16 talent.
Method at least being on even Talontiers can fight. They're waiting for Jaina. She's on her way. Water Elemental gets popped, and they're going to force the fight. Stay a while, listen is up. Team Dignitas should not overextend, but Poik attempts to work on some auto attacks. Gets the Water Elemental a little bit lower here, while Snitch continues to scout on the right.
Yeah, once again, Ethereal going in deep. Nice push. There comes the damage. Olaf goes down, but they need more. Garrosh is down to 50% HP, but the Vikings are coming back in.
Play again. Nick under siege from Olaf. He gets knocked away, but Wubby has both Eric and Balog on the side that wants to pressure Deckard Cain. He sets up and goes for the stay a while and listen, but he gets silenced due to Malfurion's Twilight Dream. Zelia able to control the fight.
We'll be losing some of the Vikings here, so that's going to become a bit of a problem. Ethereal really helping out the team with the heals now too. Definitely going to be a huge asset, but there's still only 4 here. The root, the kill, Jaina is down, and that could be the beginning of the end. Ethereal goes deep and trying to get a counter kill here, but Bad Benny is in trouble himself. The stay a while and listen does work, but Snitch is still there and is just completely wrecking the Murden down. Urel dies, and Method is losing everyone with the exception of Curson, and even he might not be able to get away here.
JPL at the end of the fray. Wubby is actually body blocking with Eric here, slowing down Deckard Cain as much as he can. The Raid of Vengeance comes up afterwards, trying to hug against this wall, but Curson able to sneak on by that old man. That is absolutely embarrassing for Eric. I mean, he is very swift, but he just got outrun by an old man. Man, he does, with a cane, by the way.
I'm sorry, Eric, but I'm disappointed. I'm not disappointed by Dignitas though. 2 levels ahead, 5 kills against 2, and that Viking composition is just fire. 16 in their hands, the Protector, and they are looking fantastic in this 3rd game.
With Catapult pushing in the top lane, Method will now have to deal with that, while the Vikings continue to hold middle and bottom. Abathur clone is available if Method wants to try and force a fight, but they don't need to. There's nothing for them to protect here. However, with the middle keep under siege, this might be where they have to make their stand.
I mean, we certainly have a spicy Phase 2 of 2018 on our hands. We talked last week about how many different heroes we've seen and how the teams are all of a sudden, through the draft, are really pulling off a couple of extreme surprises. But I did not expect Vikings from Dignitas in the slightest. Especially with it normally being more so a thing that Team Liquid showcases. This is actually a super interesting setup for Dig. Vala in the first rotation, and then a last pick Vikings here, which works out perfectly. Running the macro game. Poik on the run, by the way, as well, as we have Ethereal trying to chase him down, but now Urel is in trouble, and the Vikings again flanking, and this time they have the stun ready too.
Stay a while, listen though, hits 4 on the back left, and here comes the lockdown. Poik in trouble, but JPL able to toss him to keep him alive, turns around, gets the big taunt and the Groundbreaker as well. Wubby buying time on Nick, and Nick has to contend with the Vikings, but it's been very annoying for him. They're even chasing down Olaf, but with Snitch having the Archon, they're able to bite back.
Yeah, Method wants that fight. Even though they're talent behind, they're still saying, guys, we need to do something. We need to force this. If we don't get value now, how are we ever going to come back into this game? They're 3 levels behind right now. They will grab level 16, but then they need to force a fight, and Dignitas is not going to be willing to give them that fight.
Especially with the lead that they have, 18.5. A level and a half from hitting level 20. Eric in the top lane consistently pushing in. Abathur doing what he can to slow it down. Team Dignitas threatening a core. Nick comes over to clear that up. And at this point, you just kind of get stretched in a little bit. Well, he's getting cleaned up finally as Nick comes over. Or at least he should. Eric trying to be swift. Goes for the juke. Not enough. Gets picked off.
Yeah, I mean, Abathur can still soak a bit at the bot lane once that Olaf pushes that in. That's where he's currently positioned. Up there in the middle. There's the fight attempt thrown out. They're still fighting for it. They should, they could, and they're moving back. They don't have their cooldowns. Ah, this is rough. 3 level behind, 2.5. 19 is already there, but Benny barely able to jump out here. They need a fight before 20.
I don't know if they can get it, though.
Yeah, especially with them running Dignitas, that is running Vikings. You can just stall that out and run around your opponent and just soak until you have level 20 and then commit to the objective.
Especially with large in a charge. Every single time that Method has attempted to move in for a fight, Olaf comes in from the side and subs out Jaina. Jaina is a majority of the damage here for Method. Sure, Yrel can be annoying on the back line and lock down Vala, but how do you get kills?
Yeah, Olaf has a really bad sense of direction, but he can really hit hard with that shield.
That he can. That and his belly button. Strongest attributes to Olaf.
Yeah. Yeah, the belly button and also the size of the shirt is probably the scariest thing about Olaf, but it is very intimidating.
But he's kind-hearted, and that's all that matters in life. 20 about to hit for Dignitas, a quarter of a level away. Balog soaking in the top, Eric in the middle with Wubby, or with Olaf. That's actually both Wubbies here, as Method just cannot find a pick. Again, trying to siege down Wubby.
I mean, we talked about it earlier, and I said it before. If Method doesn't win the second Protector, then I think it's game, and that's exactly what we're seeing here right now. They lost out on the objective towards top side, and now they are 3 levels behind. Storm Talents for Dignitas, the top keeper's already been eliminated, and now we have another control point unlocking in 15 seconds. And what is Method going to do about it? The top lane is going to be pushed up by the Vikings the entire time. They need a kill, and they need it right now. Maybe against JPL. That could be it. Healing pulses on the ground. Nice setup by Ethereal. Stay a while and listen, and there it is. Garrosh is down. Is that going to be enough?
Rampage just comes out, and Poik continues to work on auto text with the support of Zelia. Sound Team coming out. Poik wants to go for the kill. Curson dropping down a few potions to try and keep him alive in the top right corner. Nick sieging away. He'll be able to find Olaf, but we still have Eric here. Now look in the top lane, though. Balog continues to push in, and he's got catapults and merc camps here sieging already on the core.
Abathar is there, but that's not going to be enough. Someone will have to defend. The shields are falling, and even though Dignitas has only 4 on the map right now, they are still the ones pressuring here. Already maybe even baiting a little bit, as Bad Benny is going straight for those catapults. The core is down to 83%. Nick comes in, drops the damage. They're getting rid of the catapults as fast as they can. 80% on the core, but they need to go back down here. And Dignitas, they haven't been lazy in the meantime either. They went straight for that fort and dropped that quickly. Still 1.5, 2 levels ahead.
Infinite Archon coming online. Ethereal goes in for the jump, trying to hop on top of Poik. Bad Benny wants to follow it up with a Storm Bolt, with minions being in the way, he can't get it. The Water Elemental comes out, and they just delete it.
And the macro game is just continuing. To the top lane, we have once more Balog with all the wave clear that he provides, pushing them through. Eric is going to fall here, but Method is still in a position where they're down to 71% on the core. And the top lane is getting pushed out. ADR can't do anything against it. He's just sitting there, and Wubby has Balog in position and forces Ethereal now to react to it.
Ethereal comes back, and Dignitas turns their attention again to the control point. 12 more percent, and they'll be good to go. Team Dignitas should be able to get this Protector. Meanwhile, Method has done their best to soak level 20, but they are still a level away.
I mean, Ethereal really wants to try and take down Wubby. If they can get rid of Balog, then they have a chance to stall this out a bit more. But Balog is still alive. Again, now the Catapult has been eliminated by some time, but the Protector has now been taken. That macro game is something, if you are behind against the Vikings, it is so difficult to make plays here. In Method, they want to fight now, and they're trying to set it up against Poik.
Trying to get Poik here, but JPL's the one taking a lot of damage on the front. Poik into a corner. Oh my gosh, the toss from JPL into the multiple stuns, into the silence is enough for Dignitas to at least clean up that clone. Ethereal attempting to escape, jumps over the roof, but meanwhile, a Protector runs to the top right corner and heads straight for the core. They try to blow up Nick, he baits it out, gets a nice little ice block, but he still has to siege away. The Protector starts to shell on the core, and remember, it's already down to 71%. Once they get to the armor, they can work on killing it completely.
Great play by Nick so far, keeping himself alive here. Now Avathar's helping out too. They're burning the Protector as fast as they can, but the core is also losing hit points by the second, down to 30. They might burn down the Protector, but I don't think they can save the core here. 15-10, and that is game as Team Dignitas takes victory with the help of the Lost Vikings in game number 3.
What a spicy draft.
Yeah.
Volskaya, Foundry, Dignitas coming in with the Vikings, able to secure a lead as they head in the mid game. The second Protector not going over to Method like we were hoping they could get. And that means the game just eventually ended. Beautiful control from them, and something a little different from Dig.
Vikings with a 100% win ratio in HGC Europe.
Olaf confirmed strong and meaty as they get the win.